$617 billion. That is how much Americans gave to charity last year. $1.57 trillion. That is how much money is sitting in impact investing funds right now, globally. Okay? Are you hearing what I'm putting down? Now, listen, Americans gave to charity last year. Americans have done so many different things with their money. So, why are the founders actually doing the work still broke? Why are the people closest to the problem still writing grant applications at midnight while consultants who never touched the community get paid first? I want you to think about that. I'm your girl T, your chief controller, and this is Control the Narrative. And today we're talking about the gap, all right? The gap between the money that exists and the impact that actually happens. Traditional philanthropy, excuse me, it writes a check and then it walks away. Venture capital wants a return and does not care about your community at all. Let's keep it a buck. Both sides think they're doing right. Both sides are leaving founders stranded in the middle somewhere. Okay? I really want you to ponder some of this stuff. My guest today has spent 30 years inside the gap, Fortune 500 boardrooms, global digital transformation, and now building the infrastructure that turns good intentions into ventures that actually last. Alain Leroy is a strategist, a technologist, and the author of the new book, Venture Philanthropy Blueprint, VPN. Builders, backers, believers. You hear what I'm saying? Builders, backers, believers. He did not write this as a theory exercise. He wrote it because he watched founders after getting funded and still failing. Well, a lot of F words. Which I'm sure they were feeling when they wound up with no money. Not from lack of talent, but from lack of the right structure. And he wrote it for his daughter. So the next generation don't have to figure this whole thing out. Today, we get into his three pillars: capital, capacity, and community. We get into his concept of the growth operation, the person AI and execution strategy that put inside a fund to make impact measurable instead of theoretical. Okay. And we get into why he thinks the entire funding conversation, philanthropy and venture capital, both have asked all the wrong questions. You hear me? If you are a founder, an investor, or someone tired, so tired of watching a good idea die in a pitch deck, stay with us. Welcome, Alain. Hi.
Hi. That was great.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I told you I did my homework.
So I do. So it's that was awesome. It's Venture Philanthropy Blueprint, like a building.
Okay.
Okay,
Got
that's
it.
all I gotta say. Yeah, but that was awesome. I was like, who is she introducing? I didn't know who it was.
Are you serious? Stop playing with me.
No.
Work hard on that. I was all in your business. Awesome. So listen, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Can't complain. I'm doing great. This gave me a break from all the soccer games I've been watching, World Cup games.
So fun. I have loved watching everyone get swallowed up in this. Like, my cousin sent me a video that they posted on the news in San Jose, which caught them at a soccer watching party, just wilding out, like just having the time of their life. And I was like, I didn't even know y'all like soccer like that.
Yeah, it's like, so now the four teams are Spain, France, Argentina, and England, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm rooting for Argentina, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, can we get, at least some of our DNA in there?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I love it. So listen, you say traditional philanthropy funds without execution and venture capital scales without conscious. This is a direct shot at two entire industries. Let's keep it above. Which one has done more damage to social entrepreneurs and why?
Well, I'm not gonna say damage, right? It's not that um, the existing systems operate as designed, uh,
Okay.
and they do well for a lot of people, including us. Um, they're just not designed for social enterprises. But I put another term on that. I say impact ventures, because what I'm talking about is a social enterprise that is scalable and backable. So traditional venture capital, they're swinging for grand slams. You know, they want to produce, they want the unicorns to come out of the shadows, and they have a process and a policy and just an approach for that. They tend to call that the power law curve, which is, you know, if let's say we invested in 100 startups, maybe one will become a unicorn, maybe, but the other 99 typically don't make it at all, or maybe 10% of them make it a little bit. So that's kind of, in order to produce one unicorn, there are some dead bodies in the street, a lot. But everyone's striving to be there, to get there. And then philanthropy, good intentions. Hey, you know, we have $1 million. We're gonna award 100 underrepresented founders with grants, and we hire an organization to vet and find those for us for that foundation. And then we give out some checks. Success, we did it, you know, and we take the pictures next to those big checks. But what I'm interested in is a year later, if we check in, what happened? So that's the system that we have now. And it's hard to find something in between, in the middle of that. So good intentions on both sides, specific mission and purpose on both sides, but the entrepreneur that is roaming the earth, seeking to solve problems in the community and make money, profit with purpose. They may not become a unicorn, which is $1 billion within 3 to 5 years. And they may not want to rely on grants, because, you know, getting a grant is a full-time job. I mean, that in of itself is a core function. And after you get that first grant, then what? You're going to go after the next one, the next one. It doesn't really allow you to become like a sustainable business. And a lot of times you rely on grants from the same institutions you're actually trying to transform. So how far you think you're going to go, right? So what if I want to solve problems in the community, and I'm happy reaching $10 million a year? 10 million is like $1 million a month. That's actually not a small amount of money. Or even $100 million a year. And I'm doing that, and I'm solving problems in the community, and I'm uplifting people. What's the resources for that? Like, where do I go to scale that idea, to scale that solution? It's too small for traditional venture capital, and philanthropy is not really designed to really support that in the long term.
Gotcha. Okay, I got that. So give it to us straight. Name one funding model or foundation style approach you think actively wastes donor money, and explain what they should be doing instead.
Right. Okay. So, and again, I'm not going to say they're wasting money. You're trying to put me.
No, that's me. That's me.
I need partners. Okay. I need partners. All right.
So I have this thing. It's like what you say and then what I hear. It's how
Okay.
I
Okay.
it's what you say, but then what I hear is, and how I interpret it as a
Okay.
layman's is like,
So
well, it sounds not great, not great. But we're gonna get you some partners. Go ahead.
no, so yeah, so okay, if you want to say wasting, I say they're not using the money efficiently, right?
There you go.
So
There you
they
go.
could get further, assuming they're interested in results beyond temporarily changing the life of a founder. If you see so instead of, let's say you're awarding $1 million in grants, well, why don't we, why do they need the money? Okay, so let's ask the 21 questions, right? Let's peel the onion. Why do they need the money? And why is it that even if they get the money, majority of them are not successful? The issue is capacity. So if you don't have the capacity, you're going to receive that money and just flush it down the toilet. So capacity, what is capacity? Capacity is the ability to execute, the ability to, the systems and the infrastructure that you need in order to market, sell, deploy, scale your solutions. So the capacity is not there for most of these founders, and they're probably seeking the funding in order to build the capacity, but they also lack the skills, the building skills, right? So they're not necessarily tech savvy. They don't know the tools that are out there. So they're not necessarily building a solid foundation that allows them to grow and scale either organically or by raising capital. So that capacity is missing. So instead of just rewarding $1 million in grants to individual founders, don't invest in intent, invest in the infrastructure,
Hmm.
because the infrastructure is missing. The systems are missing in order to build and scale impact ventures, more businesses that are profitable, solving problems that people have, right? People making money by helping people, right? So they don't have the infrastructure. Their inventions are not reaching. You see, the needle we're trying to move, and it is that let me take a step back. Who solves problems in the communities? That's a question for you.
The people,
The
the
people.
people,
Okay.
depending on what the problem is.
All right. That's a fair answer. The
Could
people.
be
I
the
agree.
police department. It could be city council. It could be a neighbor, the
Yeah.
banker.
So I agree. It's the people. It's not the government. Oddly enough, I would say it's not the government, right? Because if it was the government would employ all the top marketing, technology, and software people, right? And they don't. So it's the people. So people, for some reason, there's a group of people that are kind of builders that are anointed with a gift of being able to see how to solve a problem that people have, and then they provide a solution. So it's the people that solve the problems in the community. So let's call those people entrepreneurs. Actually, let's call those people social entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
So, how are we enabling and empowering our social entrepreneurs to build and scale the solutions that solve the problems in the communities? Because if your invention is not reaching the people, guess what? The community is not being uplifted, transformed, or changing. The
Right.
community is relying on the people providing services that kind of keep them where they're at,
Hmm.
and they never move. So we need to really empower this next generation of builders to be able, through entrepreneurship, to solve problems that people have in these communities.
Right. Okay. So your framework rests on capital, capacity, and community. Most funders think writing the check is the hardest part. Why do you think that's actually the easy part?
Yeah, writing a check is the easy part, but it's back to investing in the infrastructure. So what we introduce in the book is this concept of a growth operator. A growth operator is somebody that can work with a founder to co-create the systems that they need for their business. Because the founder just doesn't necessarily have the mindset or the skill set to be able to do that. So the founder needs to work with somebody, but that person may, how expensive is it to do that? So philanthropy, in my view, the future of impact investing and philanthropy is investing in the infrastructure, which also means, so, hey, you're going to give away a $25,000 grant. Why don't you take 10%, take 10,000 of that and gift the founder for 1 year, work with this group or this person to build what you need. That would get that founder so much further in a year. And they will be standing on their own feet with the ability to generate revenues, reach customers, grow and scale. And they would be in a much better position if they needed to raise capital, to raise more money, or to secure additional investors for their solution. So that's the thinking in the book. But believe it or not, when a founder switches their mindset from, I gotta go raise money, to, I have to build my infrastructure. When you put that out into the universe, you'll be amazed at how many people around you have the skill sets you need to do that.
Yeah.
And how many of those people are out of jobs right now, actually. So what if we could get the resources to change the community from the community? But our mind, we're not thinking about this problem this way. We're programmed to say, financial advisors do a great job teaching you how to ask them for money. They are the best at that. Like, they have gone all in training you how to ask them for money. Excellent at that. And that's all they do all day long. But what doesn't exist is, but how do you build your foundation? And that's more of a focus on like product development, marketing, things like that. The financial advisor tends to think, hey, that's why we're giving you the money, is to go figure that out on your own. But in today's digital world, that just doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense to expect every founder to go figure that out on their own. So this book really does puts a lot of information and knowledge directly into the hands of the founder and in the founders to teach them how to navigate this, what to ask for, how do I think about my business? And that's why we talk about growth operators, builders, backers, and believers. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we think about it.
I love that. The book you say was written for your daughter. What is the one thing you do not want her generation of founders to have to learn the hard way, the way you learn?
Oh, that's a great question. So what I say is my daughter, so she's 9 years old. And just to go back a little bit, my parents, they came over from the Caribbean, and I'm born and raised in New York, in Queens, first generation born here in the U.S. And what I say is, my parents, they were, good family values and all that stuff, and kind of gave me an idea, like a growth mindset, I say. But they didn't give me a blueprint for how to, conquer the corporate world or, everything that I've done in my career. They didn't give me the blueprint for that. So what I say is, okay, now that I have a child, okay, I need to give her a blueprint though, right? So how does she become an entrepreneur?
Right.
She has a kind heart. I think she has the skills to be able to be successful as a business owner, as a job creator. She has her dad's engineering mindset. She has her mom's love, compassion, and empathy. But do I, it's like Martin Luther King said, hey, I think I may have led my people into a burning house. So do I put all this nurturing into her and just say, okay, go ahead, go in there, good luck, knowing how the system is designed? Right. Or do I take the time to put on paper the approach I think people like her should take, which is different?
Yeah.
And that's what I believe what this journey has taken me towards, is being able to put that model and put this thinking, because I think the next kind of versions of this is going to be more towards a younger generation.
Yeah.
Daddy, I want to change the world. Okay, well, let me show you how you do that. Create a business. You know what I mean? Like, because that's really, I think, the best way to do it. And here's how you do it in a way that allows you to attract the resources you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let the people know how they can continue to follow your journey, support you, get the book, get in touch if they need to. Let them know.
Well, yeah, you could just go to, it's a long one, but Venture Philanthropy Blueprint.com. That's a good starting point. You could join our collective community. We have to do this together. I'm not just selling a book here. I'm really inviting you into an ecosystem, into a system where we could work together as builders, backers, and believers. We have to support each other through this. And I think what's at stake is, the world could be a better place. What we say is make money helping people, and then use that money to help more people.
Yeah.
That is, imagine if everybody in the world did that. We would be living in a whole different place, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So venturephilanthropyblueprint.com. You could join our collective there, and you could also grab that book, and always 5-star review on Amazon.
Y'all hear them, right? Y'all hear them. So listen, thank you for sharing all that. A little bit heavy to ingest for people that might not understand that world, but for those of us that do, this is great information. And this is exactly why this conversation matters, right? We keep treating capital and conscience like they cannot live in the same room, and they can't. Venture Philanthropy Blueprint says, well, he says that they have to. Nothing gets thrown away. Sometimes things get mismanaged, they get misdirected, but they have to both live together, find a way to live together. If you are building something that matters or funding something that matters, go get this book, please. Like, go get it. Venture Philanthropy Blueprint. Builders, backers, believers. Go get it. It came out June 8th, correct?
Yes, June 8th.
Came out June 8th. And I think y'all need to get it. You got to do a little reading, but you might love it. So I'll make sure that the captions are in, and where you can link and where you can buy it at is in the captions. So please check it out. And before you go, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because we are not slowing down. We have great guests like this all the time. Drop a comment right now, though. And I want you to tell me which pillar you think gets ignored the most: capital, capacity, or community. Let me know. Share this episode with a founder or a funder who needs to hear it. And head over to Substack, where I'm going to do a deeper dive on this. Make sure you always control the narrative, because if you don't, the streets will, and it will not be in your favor. All right, guys. See you next time.